Okay, looks like I am ready. How can I tell that I'm live? Okay. Hi, everyone. If you can see me. Hello, everyone. If you can see me, here is what the agenda is going to be. Let me kick it off. Okay, so based on last week's feedback, this is what I got. I was asked to slow down, not jump into any questions right away as they pop up on the screen, and not to scratch my head a lot. Thank you, Mom. My mom also sent me a 2-page list of all the things that I should improve. So thank you for that. And thank you for not putting it out on the comments box. Okay, guys. So let's get your notepads out and let's become unstoppable. Here is a question. I'm going to post it here. It's going to be a question of the day. What are the 3 things that are define your personal power? Okay, what are the 3 things that make up your personal power? Let me post that. So let's see. I am navigating all this for the first time. So yay. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to send out the StreamYard link in just a second. So can you guys see it? Okay. So here is the question, guys. What are the 3 things that make up your personal power? Please put the answers in the comment section. And okay. Hi, everyone. Hi. Okay. So thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay. So here is the question. What are the 3 things that make up your personal power? Please put the answers on the comment section and we are going to be talking about it in a little bit. I'm going to pick up the comments in a little bit. Let me run through the agenda first, and then I'm going to send in the StreamYard link and we can get started. Okay, so let's talk about what personal power is. I can give you an example of what makes up my personal power. Okay, so 3 things that make up my personal power are connection to everyone that matter to me, connection to anybody who is trying to reach out to me, connection, and then contribution, positive contribution, and all the things that I can use, I can give using my strengths is my contribution, and the impact that I can make in the world. So these are the 3 things: impact that I can make in the world. So 3 things, right? Connection, contribution, and impact. Those are what my personal power are. So think about what makes up your personal power. It can be 1 thing, it can be 10 things, it doesn't matter. I just put 3 because it's just simple to remember. And 3 is what is stored in the short-term memory and it's just quick to retrieve. So last week I had a question about stress. As a housewife, I was not able to get to it. I was checking the comments later, and I want to talk a little bit about stress and how stress comes into our life, how it knocks on our door, how it's sometimes an unwelcome visitor, and sometimes we bring it onto ourselves. We are going to talk about that. And the next important thing is identity. I was checking the comments before the start of the show, and people were asking me about identity. And that was on the agenda already for today. So I'm excited. It is a long topic. It's going to take a few more sessions like this, but we are going to delve into the concept of identity crisis and how it occurs in our life. So that is the agenda, and let's get started. I'm going to have briefly, once in a while, I'll check comments and try to show them as much as possible. If I am missing out any questions, excuse me, please ask it again if I'm not able to get to it, or I will get to it next week. Okay, so here are what humans are capable of, right? We can make nuclear weapons, we can design all these complex machines that are dictating how we live. But what we are forgetting is we are also capable of radical empathy towards our fellow human beings. What is empathy? putting ourselves in other people's shoes, trying to understand what they are going through. So, human beings are also capable of, along with making nuclear weapons, we are also capable of radical empathy and extreme productivity. So, these are the two things that can skyrocket our personal potential. We just forget that once in a while when we get carried away by distractions and all kinds of unnecessary overcomplicating our life. Okay, so who is ready to become unstoppable? I'm going to put the StreamYard link here. Please, I want you to join, and then we'll be discussing about some questions and answers, and also we are going to be talking about identity and stress in a little while. Okay, so let me get the StreamYard link. I should be having it right here. StreamYard. Okay, so let me show this and let me try to copy this if possible. Mhm. Okay, I'm going to post it in the comments section if anybody wants to join. Okay, so okay, thank you. Some of the questions that I'm seeing is relationship, family, motivation. Hello. Okay, self-confidence, self-respect, self-discipline. Yeah, we are going to be talking about the self a lot, Ramanji. Yes. Okay. So those are the three things that define your personal power. Okay. Authentic, routine. Okay. Your three. Okay. Good morning, guys. The will, desire, and knowledge. Okay. Wow. Okay. So I'm showing a few things here. I'm going to show things here. Patience and passion. Wow, amazing answers. Will, desire, knowledge, learn, share, evolve. Beautiful. Okay, thank you, Varun, for the StreamYard link. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay, how do we keep our own peace of mind with so much going around us? Varun, I think that's a very personal question for you, especially because of so many things you're handling. Okay, we'll get to that. Play sports and have a good sleep. I cannot tell how much I appreciate this comment because without sleep, we are nothing. So I was a little deliberate to extend this conversation over into after 11 p.m. for India time for all my Desi friends. But we'll see. We can try to push it a little forward. Please sleep at 11 p.m. at least. Good sleep is the most important thing. Absolutely. Okay, so we have a few ideas coming in, and if anybody wants to join, you don't have to be on the camera. You can just ask me a question if you want. Okay, I'm going to talk about peace of mind and stress uh, in combination with that. Okay, and first let's talk about identity. So here is an important thing for us to remember. Identity. What is identity? It is the quintessential question that we keep asking ourselves all the time. What is identity? What makes up my identity? Who am I? Who am I? Right? So we keep talking about, let me put my own question back here so that we can I'm going to put the same question here. What are the three things so that people know the agenda for the day? Okay. So what makes up identity, and what is this whole thing about identity crisis? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? What am I doing? These are all over and over again. You will be surprised to hear that this identity thing pops up in our minds well before the onset of adulthood. We are already contemplating the question of who am I when we are a teenager. Right when we are a teenager, we start thinking about who am I? What am I doing here? How do I fit in? How do I belong here? So that is the question that we often keep asking ourselves, because physiologically, psychologically, and physically also, we are evolving, especially at an exponential rate when we are a teenager. So we keep asking this. We are continuously like that. That is our That is our I think there is a necessarian who has joined, but it says device is not connected, sir or ma'am. Okay. What is the teenage preoccupation is who should I be? Who am I? If I be this, will people like me? If I be this, will people like me? That is the kind of preoccupation that teenagers go through. But let me tell you this, what happens is if some of the things are not addressed, your own belief system, your own values, you don't have an idea of what your values should be, how you should live your life in a way that is giving you your personal growth, optimum personal growth, you're getting carried away by the narrative and by society's idea of who you should be. You start off as a teenager and then you make all these choices that are not in alignment with you, who you really are. And that is what happens at the age of 30, 40, 50, 60. What happens is you're either in a place where there is an unending identity crisis. It is almost permanent in your life. Who am I? Who am I? You keep asking that all over again. And the second thing is, it is like a false sense of self. It is a false sense of self that you are going to identify with, because society wants you to get a beautiful big car. Society expects you to get married and give birth to at least two children by the age of 30. So these are the things that you assume society wants and it prizes. So that's why you go out to seek them. So this delayed identity crisis or permanent identity crisis, all these things manifest as confusion and chaos in our life as we go along. Okay. So the delayed identity crisis is, for example, let's say at 40 years, you're in a relationship which you're not so sure of right now. You have been in that relationship for 15 years and now you're starting to question everything. Was that relationship even valid? Did I get myself into something that I did not want to? Was I not paying attention? Who is the real me? If I'm not a good wife, then who am I? What is my identity? Right? If I'm not a good mother, if I'm not a perfect mother, who am I? So these questions also tie into what there was another lady who was asking about stress and housewives. Like, I'm a housewife, how do I manage my stress? Part of that is also identifying what your identity is. We'll get into that detail in just a little bit. But here is the thing, right? So if you are, you're like wondering, I have this beautiful car, I am the owner of the car. The car gets into an accident, you get into an accident, okay, hopefully you'll be okay, but the car is dented. Now the car is gone and you are left with a hole here, identity hole. Okay, I'm not the owner of a beautiful car, then who am I? Your marriage is falling apart. uh, your Then who am I? My relationship is not what I thought. I've nurtured this for 15 years, now I want to get out of this. Who am I? So these are the things that start creating confusion and chaos in your life, and it makes you wonder if anything that you have ever lived till now is truth or not. We can get into this much more in detail, but okay, so let me try to get there is somebody who has joined in, okay, who's trying to join, but they're not able to connect. Okay, so let's quickly talk about identity, and then we will move on to identity in another episode. But I'm going to take some questions after this. Um, how is identity formed? I want to leave you with these things to ponder upon, so that when we bring back the identity topic, we will be able to engage more. Okay, so here is the thing, right? How is identity formed? There are three aspects to identity. I will try to whiteboard this because I was trying to explore a whiteboard, and let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, share my screen. Let's see. Let me try to bring whiteboard, and so that way it will be explained better. Okay, and here is my whiteboard, full screen. Okay, so here are the things that make up identity: one, two, and three. So the first one is years of cultural brainwashing. Okay, I'm not very good at typing, so I hope you understand. Years of cultural brainwashing, right? So society's expectations. This is what I should be. This is how people expect me to be. These are my parents' dreams. I have to live up to them. Okay. So the next thing is how life gets thrown at you. Your entire past leading up to this moment. So, cultural baggage, the past experiences, and the third thing is every single day you're making a discovery. It's called the compound effect, and you're little by little you're adding all these ideas into your head of who you should be. You see somebody buy a new dress, you're like, maybe I will look good in this dress. I want to, try that out. So you are slowly altering your identity as you go along. So these are the three things that happen as you that are the ones that form the crux of your let me see, I think I stopped sharing, I hope so. Okay, this is the crux of what happens. The identity is how this is all formed. Okay, so I want you to ponder on the fact that how is your own personal identity made up. Are you the youngest in the family? Are you the oldest in the family? Are you the only child in the family? Did you have a good do you have a good relationship with your parents? How is your work life? What is your day-to-day life look like? What are the things that are influencing you? These are all the questions I want to ask you so that you can ponder on your identity and think about it and come back. Okay, so let's go to the comments. In the next section, I'm going to do something like talking about stress. Okay, so let's go. Okay, uh, okay, we are going to talk about it. Okay, yes. If somebody sleeps at 12:30, okay. Playing sports or walking 45 minutes makes me feel good. Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Mhm. Absolutely. My personal power comprises of my knowledge, my family, people, community, and my health. Absolutely 100%. Okay. What is my identity? My identity is made up of three things below me. It is made up of connection, contribution, and the impact, the positive impact I can make on people. Thank you for asking me. Okay, let's move. Yes, daily walking is good for the mind space and health. 100% agree. Literally, there is a concept called daydreaming that we just use it for a bad rap. But what happens is when you take a walk, you're literally starting to mind wander, and that is very good. Even if somebody is having a fight or anything, you will just say, hey, go take a hike or just go for a walk and just chill out, right? That is for a reason, because the mind then starts to mind wander, and it tries to just calm itself down. Very nice. Okay. um, okay, identity, we just talked about it. Can I join? I think if you can not have your camera on, I think that will be acceptable. And if you have any sensitive questions also, maybe you don't have to have your camera on, but please, by all means, soundscapes, you're welcome to join. Okay. Okay, lots of questions I want to shoot. Okay, yes, please, you're welcome to join. Okay. It's not okay. Um, okay. Meditation is very necessary. I meditate every day. 100%. I agree with Tattvam Asi. Tattvam Asi. Okay. So you meditate. So I meditate more when I have less time. So I'm completely with you on that. Plus, noting our dreams in the morning helps us also to download the mental pressure. 100%. So also, Tattvam Asi, what happens is when you are visualizing your dreams on paper, right? You're also creating what is called a Pygmalion effect, which is you're willing your dreams into reality by putting them here on paper. You're going to consciously be working on it every single day by creating little pockets of momentum. Absolutely right. Thank you for that. Okay, it's not Varun but Rachana. It's okay. Let's go join. Yes, thank you for Team SSR for encouraging people to join. Um, okay, so what to do when professional life stress disturbing your personal life and social life? Okay, I think Varun also had the same similar kind of a question. What should you do when your professional life is getting disturbed based on your personal life? Okay, so Team SSR is here. I'm going to take you in just a minute. I'll just finish these questions. Okay. Okay. No, I'm not. Okay, you are a Tamilian. Okay, sorry, I'm Telugu. I'm Telugu, ma'am. I think Meena Prabhakaran. Thank you. Okay, but these are attributes. Okay, yes, these are attributes that make up my uh, personal power. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, Palomi. I hope I answered your question. Okay, can you show the draw board again? Okay, I'm going to show the draw board again, and running keeps me going as it is my lifeline. Okay, beautiful. Let's go show the draw board again. Okay, I'm going to hide this, and then yes. So let me show this board again, and we can talk about it. Actually, first let me take Team SSR, and then okay. Hello, Team SSR. How are you?
Hi, I just came to help you at the backstage actually. If anybody
Okay,
needs
okay.
help. It's all right,
So
I'll go
then,
back on the backstage. Yeah, I just came to help if anybody needs help.
okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So I did. Okay, fantastic. So somebody. So let me mute, and then I will remove for now. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about stress. I'll just take one comment right now, and then we will get into stress. So I did last week's writing about my feelings, as you said. It is really working. Okay. So Dipali ji, this is what happens, right? When you're putting down your feelings, you are actually able to, because there is so sometimes what happens, I think this is the right segue to get into the whole stress thing right now. But for soundscapes, I just want to show the screen once again. Let me show this. Okay. So share the screen so that they can see the thing once again. I think there is also an option of going back and rewinding. Where is this? One second. Yeah. So you can also go back and see. So this is what I was showing on the whiteboard as part of what makes up our identity. What is the cultural baggage that we come up with? What is the what are the past experiences? And most importantly, this is a very, very big subject here, because the past also has two components. I mean, we can get into those components later, but the idea is the past is experiences. Okay, something happens, there are some true facts that happen. Also we add some mirch masala, which is our subjective analysis. Like we add some emotions and feelings to it and say, this is what happened in the past. Like you might be hearing some people who say, I am so mad at my mother. I'm so mad at my mother of something that she did 10 years ago. Don't ask me what she did, but she did something and I don't remember it, but I'm very mad. So if you don't remember it, what you are remembering right now is the subjective feelings, like the emotional baggage that has come with that particular incident that maybe she has wronged you, definitely. Okay. But what I'm saying is carrying the past as a burden on your own shoulders is not fair for you. So that's what the whole point of this is. Let's stop sharing and let's get back to stress. Okay, so let's talk about stress here. Let me do one thing. I'll hide. Okay, so one more thing. Okay, so coming back to your question, if someone asks me what is your identity, how will I answer that? Not attributes. So okay, so so Palomi, I want you to understand this answer in the spirit of it, not like in we are not talking about like semantics. Like we are not like, hey, these are attributes, these are not my things that I work towards or anything. Uh, Whether it is attributes or whether it is your personality, whatever makes up, what do you feel is your personal power? That is the point here. So if you want to answer that, you can start by analyzing your own strengths. So I'm sure there are some people who might be saying, Palomi, you're a creative person. Looks like you have your own channel. So maybe when you think about that, or when you are in your zone, when you're creating art, maybe that's your personal power. So that's what I want you to think of. Don't worry about attributes. So maybe I have mentioned attributes. I want you to, whatever you want to mention, you're welcome to mention and say what works for you. Like, what is your personal power? I hope that answers it. Okay, so now I'm answering these questions. Let's go back to the whole. I think somebody was asking. So it's about stress. Somebody was asking a question about. I can't seem to get that, but okay, I can. So Varun was asking a question, and a similar line, somebody else was also asking a question about stress. How do you navigate that thin line between feeling stressed and feeling complacent with yourself, where you're like, it's okay, anybody can say anything, I'm okay, let's move on, right? So it is a thin line between, hey, I want to defend myself, somebody is saying something, I want to make sure that my voice is heard, but at the same time, you're like, I just want to get out of all this drama, this is like causing me a lot of grief, I just want to move on with my life, right? So there's so many aspects of stress that are happening on a daily basis. So let's start from the housewife example that we were talking about. Someone was mentioning, hey, I'm a housewife, but I have this stress. So let's first understand how stress happens, and then we will talk about, one second, I have this thing here with me. Okay, so let's talk about what happens. So the reason why I wanted to tie the personal power with stress is because if you see, the biggest way that we sabotage our own personal power is by, we create a lot of stress. We sometimes cannot put a finger on it. You're like, something is causing me stress. I don't know what it is. Right? You don't know what is creating the stress. It's all like something mushy and you cannot put a finger on it. But there are ways to zone into that area that is giving you stress. Many examples, right? We'll walk through little by little every episode and see how we can unwrap and unpack all of those things. The first thing is, somebody said something that is causing you stress. Okay, so again, let's do a whiteboard so that it's easier to maybe remember all these things. First, let me explain and then I'll whiteboard it. How about that? Okay, so one of the biggest things that hijacks our personal power is stress. How is that? Let's talk about how we can put a finger on it. So there are three ways that you can put a finger on stress: 1, 2, and 3. So the past, the present, and the future. So usually, in about the past, we are sad or depressed about something that has happened, even though this is the critical thing, even though it is not in our control, right? So what happens is, we are like, uh, we're ruminating over it, we are overthinking it, and we cannot let go of an idea that something bad has happened to us. The how can you overpower that feeling is, hey, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm well. Is there a possibility for me to patch up with that other person? let me see if I can bring back things to status quo. You can think of it like that and put it aside. Okay, so that is one way you can put a finger on something that is bothering you from the past. There are things, then the next thing is something that happens in the present. Right now, somebody has said something or somebody has done something, somebody hasn't invited you to a party. I mean, it is COVID, but I don't know, maybe people are still having a party. I don't know. So you are not being invited and you see something on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok. I don't know. There's tons and tons of social media and all these things that are creating even more confusion, right? In the present, so if something is happening right now, something that is happening, I just want you to calm down, look at yourself. Something in the present is bothering me. What do I do about it? I can choose. So this is, somebody was asking me about book recommendations. I have tons and tons of book recommendations on my website. I can post the link here in a little bit. But there's a book called by Viktor Frankl. By Viktor Frankl. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. So Man's Search for Meaning. So I live here in the US and I read it almost 10, 15 years ago and it just radically changed my life because here is the thing, right? It talks about a concept called logotherapy. Logotherapy is a concept that is, in spite of everything that is happening in your life, you can still find meaning in it. You can still find meaning in life. So who wrote this logotherapy is the gentleman called Viktor Frankl, and this is what he did. He survived the most horrific genocide in human history, which is he was sent to a concentration camp by Hitler's army, and he was there for, I believe, 18 months or 2 years. He had survived that. He came out of it when when the German forces rescued them, all these prisoners. He comes back. He's a physician by profession before going into before being captured and arrested and imprisoned. So he comes out of that imprisonment and says, he writes this, he comes up with this logic called logotherapy. So, in spite of everything, you can find meaning in life. That is what logotherapy is. So, what he says is there is something which is a classic statement here. You'll find it anywhere on the internet if you search for it. Viktor Frankl says, there is something between this response, there is a stimulus. Okay, somebody has given us a stimulus, either through saying something, doing something mean or something. They're stimulating us and they're about to rise some emotions within us. He says there is that thin line between response or reaction. What do you want to choose? The stimulus can come from outside or inside. We will talk about it more in the study of self when we are doing that. Study of self, which is so important. But the stimulus which we are getting, should we respond to it or react to it? That is what you have to choose, and that will help you mitigate your stress. Okay, so in the past we talked about how to let go. Okay, next, in the present we are talking about whether to react or respond. Okay, what about the future? Because a lot of us live with the prospectus in our head. This is how my future should look like. And if you are not having a prospectus in your head, please, I want you to start your journey of creating your own blueprint vision for the future. Because here is the thing. So how do you ruminate about the future when it has not even happened? And it can be a source of stress. You'll not believe it, right? Oh my gosh, I'm spending so much on my son's education. Will he go to college? Okay, so that can be a source of stress. They're all real. I'm not making fun of any stressors, real life stressors that we have. These are all real. But what are we doing here? We are going to divide them between, are they in our control, what happens to our child, or are we in control? Can we do anything about it? Of course, you are doing a lot about it. You're giving him a good education. That is in your control. You're doing that. Yes. So whenever you're ruminating, whenever you're anxious about your future, I want you to think about how to divide them into two buckets, in your control and out of your control, and the things for which you are under control, am I doing anything about it? Okay, so let's whiteboard this and just talk a little bit about that, and then we will talk about deeply personal and professional, like how can you navigate that line between professional and personal boundaries that doesn't cause stress. Okay, so after this whiteboard, I'll little bit go into the comments to see if anybody has any questions. um, let's see, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to bring the whiteboard here and do this again. Okay, so let's share screen, and this one. Okay, and okay, so full screen, and dude, let me just get rid of all of this. So we are talking right now not about identity, but stress. So again, let's do this. 1, 2, and 3. In the past, in the present, in the future. So what are we trying to do here? What are we whiteboarding here? We are whiteboarding what is how the concept of how to put a finger on the stress, like how to zero in on that. So if you see this, there is as you can see, there is in the past you learn to let go. Okay, in the present you say, is this something which I need to respond or react? See, hey, sometimes you have to react. When it is life or death, you cannot just simply be like, I'm going to let life happen to me, and I'm going to just be like a peaceful person about it. No, sometimes you have to, if you have to protect yourself, if it's a life and death issue, you have to react in a way that is uh, protecting yourself. Okay. In the future, two things, right? Is this under my control? Okay. Or not? Okay. So I want you to think about this: past, present, and future. And this is an exercise for you, right? So just like how the identity exercise is there, I want you to also put a finger, try to put a finger. If you're not successful, let's talk about it again, because this conversation will keep on happening. This is we're just beginning here. Okay, so past, present, and future. Let go. You react or respond. Is it in your control or not? That is the line that you have to navigate to come up with a pointer list for what is the real source of stress for you. Okay, we this is just a high level, blueprint kind of a thing, but we are going to be talking more about this in a little bit. Okay, so before I talk about how to navigate the thin line between professional and personal expectations, let's talk about let's look at the comments if there are any brand new questions. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I was doing this, I looked at this, minus the cam. Okay, yeah, so this is the exact question that I was, yeah. So what to do when your professional life stress disturbing your personal and social life? Absolutely, 100% yes. This is the one that we are going to be talking about. Okay, this is awesome, thank you. And Palomi, I'm going to see if you have any follow-up questions. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Cultural baggage plus past plus impact. Yes. So, yeah, what in this is the identity, right? Like, what is holding you back from your cultural baggage? Like, what is not making you live your full potential? And what in the past experiences are you defining as something that has happened to you, something unfair, and something that is just defined you for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be that way. Yes. And the future and the contribution that you can make positively, that can, yeah, that can form your identity. Great. What do I feel? Thanks for the answer. Okay. What is the one thing that everyone should do to have peace of mind? Okay. Very nice. I love this question because it is, Amarji, this is the uh, antidote, right? This is the antidote for the stress that we are going to talk about. So, stress is there. Okay. We acknowledge it. It is there. What do we do about it? Is what this question will fall into. We are going to talk about it. Okay. So, yes, this is the question. Thank you for posting this again. Okay. Okay, we all take walks in the back alley of our mind, sometimes consumed by the darkness. Ooh, I like this soundscapes. Oh my gosh. And you are under 18? Are you sure? Okay. And we are unable to pull ourselves out of the pit of despair. As a lot. Okay, so Soundscapes has a question. We are unable to pull ourselves out of the pit of despair as I lost my mom a couple of months ago. How do I come out of it? Okay, let's talk about this in more detail and then we'll go into the professional aspects of everything. Okay. So, like an example, if we get an email with a problem, we choose where to write how I can help or resolve or just counter it. Yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. You have to be providing some kind of a feedback or some kind of a, positive output. Somebody is showing a problem. Yeah, somebody is giving a problem to it, like saying that there is a problem, and how do we answer that instead of just like saying, hey, is it my problem? Is it this? Like instead of reacting. Very nice. Yes, ma'am. Life with meaning, which has to be led. Absolutely, 100%. Okay, so I have Abhishek Patel here. I'm just going to take him in just a second. I just want to put this up so that I don't forget to address this one. Okay, I think Abhishek Patel has left. Okay, so let's see. Uh, okay, I'm going to continue to answer this in that case, unless he or she joins back in. Okay, so first of all, Soundscapes, I apologize for your loss. I'm so sorry for your loss. Um, but I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. It might be, uh, these words might not console you, but here is the truth, right? I want you to think about what I'm saying and I want you to answer this, okay? As much as you can, as best as you can. Here is the question. This is following the pattern of nature, okay? Because our older generations are supposed to go first than us, okay? So there might be a lot of reasons why she has passed away, and which is very, I'm sure, very, very unfair. Whatever has happened, you can put more details if you are okay with it. Okay, so if you're okay with it, I want you to give me more details about her passing. Was she, um, did she have a peaceful death? Was she okay towards the end? Did you know it coming? And all those things, because we can talk in those terms. Okay, here is the thing, right? The reason why I say that this pattern is following nature, because if it was the other way around, okay, there are a lot of parents I know who are living with the death of their child. My own grandmother is a living example of that. I lost my aunt very young, when she was very young, and my grandmother is still surviving because she has living children. The grief can be sometimes overpowering. It can be, you cannot even breathe. At that moment, I want you to remember what Amarji was saying. He was asking a question, in spite of everything, how can I bring peace back into my life, right? Because sometimes you are carried away by grief, and that grief will uproot you and throw you. It will just keep throwing you in a tornado of grief. Like you'll keep on churning and churning. Why me? Why my mother? Why should this happen to me? Why did this happen to us? It is not unfair. There's so many questions that you will keep on talking about. But as personal as grief is, you have to understand one thing. Grief can teach us so many things about the importance of what we still have here. Please tell me if your father, you still have your father. Because I want you to think about, people that you are probably ignoring who also need support to go through what you are going through. You are probably having other family members who it is very very tough for them also. So you have to pull yourself together. How? Right? So it is easy for me to say, hey, it is all following the course of nature. It is against nature. If the child dies, okay, great for philosophy and everything. But for practical reasons, how do I let my grief not consume me? We can whiteboard it a little bit. We can whiteboard it a little bit, and then let's talk about it. Okay. So grief, unpacking grief is going to be, so I'm sure I will take a few minutes on this grief topic, because it's kind of something that will there is nobody probably who hasn't gone through grief in their life. Personal loss is a very big subject. And what is common among us on Varun's platform here is also something that has connected us with grief. If you remember, what are we here? How do we all know each other? Let's think about that. Any answers? Any questions? Uh, SSR. Yes, the grief that he has been wronged, and taken away from us at such a young age, is the one that is collectively putting us together. Okay, so you are here looking for answers, and we are all here always surfing YouTube to try to find out. NCB has done something today. It is probably going to file a charge sheet. Yes. Okay, that has given us momentary peace of mind, but then we get back to the real question. We're like, but we have a long way to go. How about, how is it going to be possible that we are going to be not having a justice, and how long can we wait? That can be a question, right? And the minute that question crosses our mind, our peace of mind that was just here when we heard that NCB news has gone away. Yes. Then how do you make sure, as Amarji was also saying, how can you make sure that peace is the constant force? Peace is the constant force. It is anchored deeply into your life than anything else. Okay, so I just want to be okay. So I just want to be mindful of the time. So I was just checking the time. So how can we move? So I don't want you to soundscapes to move along. I think there is a private chat. Let me just quickly check. Okay. So there is. So let me tell you something. So how do we move on? Move along with our grief rather than move on with our grief. Okay, so there is a necessarian, but devices are not connected. Can you turn on the audio? You have to get out of this YouTube video, sir, and then only you can join if you're watching it on your phone or your laptop. Otherwise, your audio is not, it's saying that it is not connected. You can switch off that YouTube video and then join right here, and I will be able to take you. Mrs. Aryan, if you can hear me in the private chat. Okay, so let's talk about this. So personal loss is what the topic is right now, and we are talking about how to move along with grief. How can you move along with grief? Soundscapes is you can carry the memory of your mama. Okay, all the things I'm telling you right now. The minute I say your mom, and you're thinking about, I want you to go back to a memory where you are either fighting with her or chatting with her, laughing with her, sending a meme joke or something like that. It will immediately bring a smile onto your face. So those are the things that will help you to anchor your peace. Those are the moments that you can always keep going back to move along with your grief. I don't want you to leave her behind. I don't want you to leave her memory behind. I want you to carry on with your life, because let me tell you something. What does your mom want more than anything else? I'm sure right now my mom is watching, because moms are our biggest cheerleaders, right? Even if nobody is watching here, she will be watching, I know that, right? So what I want you to think in terms of, how can I pivot, how can I turn around from my grief and see what I can do with my life now that I have the benefit of this wisdom with me, that life is too short and it can come to us at any point of time. I'm sorry, I worried that you are probably getting overwhelmed and sad about what I'm trying to say. But okay. Okay, so SSRian says that, okay, so yes, yeah, I live in the US, sir. Yeah. Okay. So carrying along with grief, we will try to unpack this grief in a little bit. I just want you to play with these words in your head and tell me what you're thinking about it, because I don't want to go through the whole thing right now, because I just want you to settle down with these thoughts and think about it while you come back. We have a few more minutes that we are going to go ahead anyway. Okay, so here is the thing. Let's talk about uh, professional and personal expectations and goals, and sometimes navigating both of them can be a source of stress. How is that? Okay. Soundscapes. Yes, I'm choked and angered. Why Khuda is so unfair? Okay, so it is. Uh, I know that this is going to be your reaction, which is completely understandable. I just want you to live with that. Just stay with that for a few minutes, and let's revisit that in a little bit. Thank you for replying. Thank you. I wanted to make sure that you were okay. I think uh, okay. So SSRian is a person who has joined on the private chat, and he has a question. Let me address that quickly before I go back to the stress thing. So he says he's unable to log in, unfortunately, but he has a question. So please don't take this as a negative, but what will SSRians do if, can I show this comment? I don't think so. Okay. Uh, okay. So please don't take this as a negative, but what can SSRians do if CBI says suicide? Will they continue to fight? If yes, how? Okay, so this is going into a different realm. Let's address that. I'll just say 2 points and then we can talk about it if there is more time. If anybody wants to join, they're welcome to. You don't have to have your camera on and we can talk. So let's talk. So his question is, he's saying that don't take it negatively. What will happen if the CBI or NCB declare it? I mean, not the NCB, excuse me. The CBI declares that Sushant's is a suicide, which so many of us in our gut, in our heart know that it is not true. Okay. What if the authorities come back and say that this is not a murder, this is a suicide? What will happen? Should we continue to fight? And if so, how will we have the courage or the bandwidth or the enthusiasm to fight? That is his question. Fair enough, very fair enough. Okay, so let me just sit down right now. 1 second. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's unpack this quickly. So his question is, what will we do if CBI says this is a murder? Okay, so first things first. Again, this will go back into the realm of SSRian. This will go into the realm of, because your name is SSRian, I totally applaud you. I know that you are a hardcore SSR warrior, and I salute you for staying in this fight for so long, for 8 months, first of all. Because of awesome people like you, we are still in this fight. And going forward, this is going into the realm of, can we control the outcome? Can we control the outcome? Because I'll tell you something, if our emotions, our desires are not attached to the outcome, we are going to be okay with any result. So SSRN, if I say that, hey, do you remember, no, if your friend comes and says, hey, I have this boyfriend who is not treating me well, what should I do? You can just immediately say, he's not good for you anyway, just leave him, he's a useless fellow, just leave him, right? You can easily say that. But why do you say, why are you able to say that? Because the outcome of whatever happens to your friend is not going to affect you in any way, right? So maybe she'll continue living with them, or she will get rid of him. It doesn't matter to you, right? Emotionally, physiologically, like, it doesn't affect you at all. So that is the reason why making uh, a judgment call right then and there about somebody else's life is so easy. But here with SSR, we are emotionally invested, and we are not, we are forecasting what is going to happen in the end. What if the negative outcome comes? What will you do? Here is the thing. If that, I'll tell you one thing, if that was everybody's thought process right now, if I'm sure it is not yours, because you're still in the fight. How do I know that? If the thought process was, what if CBI will declare suicide, you would not even be here with that assumption, right? You won't be an SSRian anymore. So let's unpack that as hope for the future, and also a thing that is not in our control. Okay, so right now in the present moment, we are going to do whatever it takes to move our cause forward. All of us together, walking, marching along with all these frontline YouTubers that we have, who are helping us out every day. They're spending hundreds and hundreds of hours, personal time of theirs, and championing the cause so that we can see justice. So let's think about it when we get there. But right now in the present, are we doing what we are supposed to do? That is the most important thing. Okay. Okay, so you're not over positive, you're just thinking about both sides of the coin. Absolutely. So yeah, I just want to retire that question momentarily for now. And I want to talk about a little bit about stress. The professional, how do we navigate that professional and personal path? First things first, right? Whether you're a housewife or you're a, let me whiteboard, no, not yet. I'll not whiteboard it yet. Let me talk about, thank you, Cesarian. Okay, I will not whiteboard it yet. I'll just explain to you this. So, you are a housewife, or you're a C-level executive having a gigantic corner office. Okay. You have all these luxuries, and you're like, but it is also very, very high flying job and everything. On this end, you're a housewife who has some, who has people's expectations on her, especially if you are a mother, if you are, there are house husbands also these days. Since 2019, women are making more money in the US, than their male, in the households that are making more money by the woman, have increased for the first time in 2019. So maybe your house husband. So here is the thing, right? How do, I think there is Abhishek Patel who has joined. I'm going to take him in just a second. I'll just finish this quickly and then we'll come back to that again. So whether you're a housewife, whether you are a CEO, here is the thing that you have to do. First thing is, our life has to be intentional from our side. Because I'll tell you one very easy example. I appreciate the person who created email. Good for him. He's a great guy. Email has brought us all together. Good. I use email a lot. Great. But I'll tell you one thing. I want you to think about this. Email is almost always 100% somebody else's agenda for me. Somebody's email, somebody's emergency is my problem. When an email comes, it is their agenda that they are trying to set up on me. So I want you to think about this clearly. If a simple thing can, like email, can be somebody else's agenda, somebody who is trying to run their agenda on us, why can't we just focus and live an intentional life from our end, right? Why don't we have non-negotiables for us? First thing, why can't we have expectations set? Hey, I only cook once a day. You don't like it, you're welcome to take a takeout, right? I'm not trying to like instigate a war here or anything. I'm just trying to say, then let's be intentional about what expectations we are setting. I can only cook once a day. That is my limitation because I have other personal growth agendas that I want to work on, right? So let us set expectations. A CEO, especially a CEO or a housewife, the third thing is you have to delegate like a maniac. You have to delegate like a maniac, okay? Because if you don't delegate, if you think that you can do everything by yourself without anybody's help, I am really sorry to burst your bubble. It is not humanly possible, and that is the single source of stress that you are self inflicting upon yourself. Okay, so here is the thing. So let's talk about what let me put the brand here, the question of the day, so that people can see what's happening. Okay, let's stay on the point. Okay, so what, so delegation. So let's unpack that. I'm going to write do like a whiteboard on it. Stress, trying to help people understand what they can expect from you, first thing, and also trying to establish some personal and professional boundaries for yourself. Okay, delegating like a maniac, okay, because you cannot do everything yourself, and understand and set your non-negotiables on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Because if you have your goal, last week also I explained, if you have your goal, you can be unstoppable because you already know you're going to charge ahead full steam. Okay, so thank you, Abhishek, for waiting. I'm going to add you to the stream. Please, can you unmute yourself and speak? I think he is. Let me try to unmute him. Okay, not. Hello, Abhishek. Can you hear me? Okay, I think he's probably somewhere where he cannot hear.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you, Abhishek. Can you
I
hear me?
think there is some problem with my internet,
Okay, so you're not able to. I can hear you.
but I'm not able to hear you. Sorry about that. I'll just try to join again.
Okay, okay, okay. No problem, no problem. Okay. Let me go back to comments now. 1 second. Yes, soundscapes. Relate with you. I can relate with you, as my mom used to say, I'm mature than my age. Okay. Okay, very nice. Got it. How can you be positive even in a tough situation? Okay. 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 So RG Darak. Okay. So we are going to talk about RG's question in just a little bit. Okay. Most of the times we just have to clear our mind and thoughts. Certainly the things look totally different. 100% true. I've been listening to this. Thank you. Okay. Sorry for your loss. But yeah, exactly. So please take care of the people who are still relying on you. Yes, create happiness and momentum with small things. Um, okay. 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 Thank you. Okay. So let's get back to the concept of somebody's question here. I just want to see if Amarji is still here. With his question, he was talking about peace. And also, there is another similar thing. How can I stay positive even in tough situations? Those are the two things I want to address. Okay. So, okay. Yes. Abhishek, can you unmute yourself and speak, please? You can try now. I think there is some audio issue. I think you're speaking probably, but I can't hear. Okay, I'm going to wait for him to say something. Meanwhile, let's get back to this question who was asking RG and Amarji was, both of them were asking this. Okay, so here is the thing, right? There are two things, two ways I want to talk about this. Two ways. I'm going to whiteboard this. Abhishek, can you unmute yourself and try now? Nope, can't hear you. Earlier I was able to hear you. Okay, so let me whiteboard this and talk about while he's going to fix his computer. Okay, so I will first talk about, okay, I think there is Tanish Chavla who wants to join. Oh, okay, oops, he got disconnected. Goku Singh Ji, I can't see your device is not connected. I'm sorry, so many people are having trouble today. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let's go back here. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I want to unwrap this in two different ways. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, so let's get back here where I am using my board again. And let's get rid of this. So right now, the topic that we are talking about is positivity and keeping peace in our life. Okay. I want to talk about two things here. Understanding, see, every concept has three aspects to it: awareness, education. So when you are aware of how to think about things, and if you are educating yourself in that topic, you can empower yourself with this and move forward. So these are the three things. Okay, first thing is I just want to talk about peace, happiness. So first I want to talk about happiness in a context that I want you to think about this. This is this is also called flexible thinking. Flexible thinking is not thinking like how you usually think. So that is so it means that all these concepts can bend your mind and take you in a different direction. Okay, so let's talk about happiness. Here is one thing I always think about. Oh, if I ask anybody, kids or adults, are like, oh, I just want to be happy, right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that idea. But here is the thing, I just want you to understand one concept. If sadness, if grief, like what the 17-year-old girl or boy who was, is going through because of the loss of his mother, that grief which is consuming right now is also fleeting. What is fleeting? It means with time, it is going to keep slowly healing itself. So, like that, happiness is also a fleeting emotion. We can go back to that car example where we were talking about, if I'm the owner of a beautiful car now, right? If it is dented when I take it out for a ride and I get into an accident and it is dented, then what happens? My happiness is temporarily gone because my car has a dent. So the thing is, you cannot outsource your happiness to anybody else, any circumstance, anything. That is you taking away your personal power and giving it away to that car, to your spouse, to your child's certificates that you want to see. If you want to see your child's certificate to feel happy about yourself, then God help you, right? So you get the point. I hope you understand. So happiness is also a fleeting emotion, and it is not going to be here to stay. It is also going to be disappearing. So think about that. The anchor better be in peace, and that too inner peace. Okay, so no matter what then happens, here is something that you can do. This is called the locus of control. Locus of control is psychological term. It means that I want you to, Amarji, RG, all of you guys, I want you to write down as an exercise for this week. What are the things that are under my control? Anything outside my child's certificates, my wife's happiness, my brand new shirt that hopefully doesn't get stained tomorrow. All those things, your brand new house, a plot of land that you're trying to buy, all these things, how they will survive the onslaught of time and life are not under your control. What is in your control? I want you to write it, and you will find very few things are under your control. And one of them is how you respond. How you respond. So, this is the line that divides whether you are going to be sucked into the chaos of things that are happening, or you will manage your equilibrium in spite of everything that is happening. So, response. So, you might not remember anything that we spoke, but I want you to take away this: the locus of your control, very few things that you can control. One of them is how you respond to situations. So, that's a little bit about personal and professional. Okay. Oh, sorry. There are some people waiting. I did not realize. Abhishek Patel, can you try one more time? It's not working. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is a source of stress for us, but it's okay. We will manage. Do you want to try to put something in the private chat? Oh, somebody is private chatting. Let's see. Okay. So, guys, please don't fight here. Somebody is fighting here. Okay, so please on the chat, private chat, try your best to not fight, please. Okay, so no, maybe. Okay, so Vaibhav Chanekar, can you try to unmute yourself, please? Vaibhav Chanekar. I think yes. Last week you came here, sir. I think you are the one. Can we? Hello. I cannot hear Vaibhav ji or Abhishek Patel. Okay, so let's go back to the comments a little bit, and then you can come back here. Okay, I'm going to read some comments here. Okay, so soundscapes. I hope you're doing well. Okay, I'm going to read some of your messages. Okay. Okay. Need for approval is one of the most common inhibitors to inner freedom. Let go and walk down the self-discovery to find your passion and your true self. Absolutely, 100%. I've done it and can say with assurance. Living authentically, 100%. Yes. I'm happy. Okay. Yes. So, yes. So, Amarji, 100% right on the point. Okay. So, we can go into all the things that can provide us inner peace and joy, and one of the biggest thing that gives us unbelievable joy and instant peace is our gratitude. Because let's see how this works, right? You take away all the things in your life that you have right now. Maybe a set of parents who are alive, who are well and healthy. You can take away your job that is paying the bills. You can take away the child that you have. You can take away your sister, your brother, all basically all the sources of connection and whatever gives you meaning to your life, right? You can take away all those things, and when you see that once you have taken all those away, you're like, oh my gosh, I am so grateful for all these things in my life. How can I live without them? Right? So that is the power of gratitude. It is amazing. It is an amazing tool. I can talk about gratitude for hours and hours, but this is great. Yes, this is one of the ways that you can retrieve and bring back joy into your life. Every time you're like, uh, "What is happening to me? Why did this happen to me?" and everything. Array, look at what is happening right now with you. You're still alive. It is, this life is a celebration of being alive, being here. Don't forget that and discount that. Okay. So Tanish Chavla, can you try to join, please? Hello. Hello, hello. Tanish Chavla, can you put your question in the private chat, maybe? Yeah. You can. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to add you to the stream. Gosh, I have to add you guys to the stream. I think Vaibhav also have to add you to the stream. Sorry. Tanish, can you try to speak, please? Oh, oops. He had to leave. Let me add Vaibhav. Vaibhav, can you speak? Maybe I have to add you to the stream to hear you guys.
Yeah, Rachana, can I try
Yeah.
Vaibhav?
Tanish. Yes. Hi. Can you mute the other YouTube video, please? Yeah. You can. Oh. I'm sorry. I have to add you to the stream. Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
Can you? Gosh, I have to add you guys to the
Should,
stream.
should I?
Also have to add you to the. Stop that one. Yeah.
Okay.
You can
What
stop
should
that.
I speak or should I stop?
Tanish, can you try to? No. Can you stop the other YouTube video that is playing? There is something that is giving me feedback. There's some sound coming. Can you speak?
Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I audible, Rachana?
Yeah. You are audible, sir, but you are also watching YouTube somewhere else, right? So can you get out of that window? Is that possible? Okay, let's try if he's able to do that. Okay, and now can you try once again unmuting yourself, please? Add Abhishek to the stream. Abhishek, can you try now?
Hi, good evening, Rachna.
Hi,
Can you
Abhishek.
hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes, I can. I can now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really don't have a question as such, but
Okay.
I'm not sure whether, my thinking or my approach towards, dealing with tough situations uh, is a correct way.
Okay.
I just want to know your opinion on that.
Okay. Great.
So whenever, most of the times,
Yeah. Now
we
it's
as
okay. Yeah.
all
1 second. I'm muting you, Vaibhavji. Sorry, sir. Mhm.
yeah. So can I?
Hi,
Yeah.
Abhishek. Yeah. Yes, I can. 1 second, Vaibhavji. I'm just going to mute you. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, can you give me the scenario, Abhishek?
Yeah. So, we as human beings, we have a lot of expectations, right?
Yeah.
We have expectations from ourselves, from our parents, our colleagues,
Yeah.
all the people around us, right?
Yeah.
And most of the times, the reason why I feel stressed out is because, I tend to expect a lot from people and they
Okay.
don't, meet my expectations. So, be it the people with whom I'm working with, my
Okay.
subordinates or my staff, and that is the reason I feel very stressed out,
Okay.
and I tend to burst out in anger because of
Okay.
that,
Okay.
you know, and then
Okay.
after a while when
Mm.
I just try to reassess the situation
Yeah.
or just try to go through the entire thing, then I feel a bit embarrassed because
Okay.
I feel that I shouldn't have scolded someone so much, and I just try to put myself in his shoes, in his or
Okay.
her shoes, and then I feel that I've been very unfair to that person.
Okay.
So I feel that most of the times the expectations that I have from people is causing a lot of stress for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know how to get out of that that vicious circle, because
Okay.
I have been trying to get out of that, and I keep on repeating the same thing again and again, because I feel, okay, this thing
Okay.
has happened this time. Next time I'm not going to do that. I might find out
Yeah.
a very polite way or a better way to convey what I feel to the other person,
Yeah.
but still I keep on doing the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing, I'm not sure, how good it is, but during the stressful situations, I
Yeah.
just keep one thing in my mind,
Yeah.
just to keep working for the best, just hoping for the best thing,
Okay.
and be prepared for the worst that may happen
Okay.
in that case.
Prepare for the best.
So,
Okay.
keeping those boundaries, intact, I just try to give my best in that situation. That's the only thing that is within my control, right?
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay. So
yeah.
here is,
Thanks.
yeah, sure. Thank you. Here is the question I have for you. Are you in a management role, sir? Do you have a team that you're managing, or do you report to somebody? Like, I mean, obviously, you're probably also reporting to somebody.
I have a small business, so I
Okay.
have a small team of people.
Okay. You own a
Yeah,
business. Okay. Okay. I got it.
yeah,
So let's do one thing. Okay. So, here are the things, right? Let's talk about stress. Should I whiteboard this, or let me talk? Okay. So here is the thing. So even right now, if you can see, I'm making micro decisions, right? Should I keep this right here? There's the monitor. I have this whiteboard here. Should I drag it here? And should I click the share link and start drawing on it? All those things I was making as you were talking and I was about to respond. So see those micro decisions that we are making. So there is a macro decision that I made at the beginning of this event where I said, okay, I have to click on StreamYard and I have to join and I have to do this live. So I want you to, just for yourself, tonight, just sit down and see one more. So two things I want to talk to you about. One is how you are currently working and how you will have to leave the regret of the past to keep moving forward. Okay, because I'll tell you first things first, Abhishek. So the past is a different person and it would have done everything differently, right? It would have done everything differently. So in hindsight, would have treated your employees well, you would have set expectations well beyond well before they became nightmares, right? So past is a different person. Let's leave it at that. Let's try to see how we can move forward. Here is the
yeah,
thing. I want you to think in these terms. Let's say tonight is Sunday night, and I can see clearly that my refrigerator, when I open it, that there is no milk. Tomorrow morning, both my sons will need to eat cereal and they want milk, and my husband eats coffee. I know for a fact that I need milk. Okay, but I'll think, Sunday night, I just want to relax. I'll just pop in that movie and like watch and just relax. It's okay, right? What happened tomorrow morning till night tonight? That lack of milk is just a situation. Tomorrow morning, what happens to that, Abhishek, is it becomes a problem. The same event, right? There's no milk now, there's no milk tomorrow morning. But did you see with the passage of time, one small situation became an unacceptable situation? Can you see
right.
how? Yeah. So I want you to see, think in those terms. Now, future, moving forward. Remember, we are trying to let go of our regret, feel some self-compassion for ourselves. Okay, I made some infractions in the past. It's okay. Let me try to move on. Yes. So now what you're doing is you are going to think about all the things. right now this is the situation. If I don't tell, let's say one of your employees is Rachana, so I have to tell Rachana that in 2 days this is coming up. Okay, better yet, does Rachana know her duties? Because that is the power of delegation. If she already knows what is coming up and she already is aware of all her duties, half of the battle is won, right? There is no follow-up needed. There is no like, hey, are you on it? Are you on it? Are you working on it? There's no need to do all that. So I want you to sit down and analyze the whole blueprint of whatever you're supposed to do. So let's do this so that I can share the screen and we can talk about all the things that you could be doing starting right now. Okay, so let's see. This was our discussion about peace and inner peace and all that stuff. So let me just try to see if I can. I wish there was a bigger eraser. I can get rid of things faster. Sorry. Okay. So first things, Abhishek, let's see this. I can wrap it up. I know there are people who are waiting, but I just want to give you some pointers so that we can revisit this next week. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. So here is the thing. I just want you to. Here is your business. Employees. Sorry, my drawing skills are out of control here. But okay, so if you can see this is your establishment. There are few things here. First things, does everybody know what your company stands for? Your value systems. Is everybody aware of them? The values can be something like everybody has to be timely, everybody has to be honest, everybody has to be, communicative and all that. Okay.
Right.
Because what happens is it takes out the guesswork out of things. Are people left to guess what you're expecting, Abhishek? Are people left to guess, maybe Abhishek will need this, or I don't know, maybe I have another competing priority that I don't have to worry about? Are people guessing? Are you setting a real, legitimate, solid expectations in front of people? Or are you just leaving it for guesswork? I want you to question that to yourself. Okay. Third thing is, are you delegating enough so that you're not piling up everything? Delegate on your own plate, because it is not fair. I'm sure you have a family, or maybe you have some parents to look after or children to look after. You have your own personal life. So work cannot be all consuming, because I tell you, on our deathbed, nobody has ever said, I wish I worked more. Okay, so that is a guarantee that I want you to delegate like a maniac. You have some trusted associates, your employees, for whom you're so grateful for being able to run this company, your brand, right, that they are taking out into the world. Are you connected with them? Because more than any of these things, the first thing is connection. Because even a brand, right, if you want to sell a brand, people don't buy the brand for what it is, they buy that emotion behind it. They're not going to buy your brand, Patel's, I don't know, toothpaste. Toothpaste is a great product. I'm not, okay. So Patel's toothpaste. Are they buying Patel's toothpaste? No. They are buying the story you're telling behind that. They're buying that emotion that everybody has, like this clean teeth, touching and all that, right? So they're buying that for the story that you're telling. So first, most important thing is, are you connected to everybody in your ecosystem that matter? So I want you to do this. I want you to take a stock. So this is called a life audit. What you are doing right now is you're sitting down and writing a life audit. Because why do you have to do that, Abhishek? I'll tell you simply. For anybody who is listening, why do we have to do life audit? Is because let's get rid of some of these here so that I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Dude. Okay. Life audit is needed because Abhishek is here. Abhishek wants to get to here. This is his current state and this is his desired state. Okay. The desired state is far. So what you are doing is you are minding the gap here. What is causing for me to not being able to live my desired state? Let me explore my values. Let me take out the guesswork out of everything. Let me delegate like a maniac. Let me actually sit down to make deep, meaningful connections. Do you know the names of your employees? Do you know the names of their family members? Do you know their stories? They are working for your brand. After all, your brand is the one that is known. They are all, unsung heroes in the background. So when you establish all these things in your ecosystem, it is so tight. The ecosystem is like just so solid that things will automatically start going in your favor. Right now, there is this gap. There's some things that need to be addressed. So I want you to do a life audit, which is going to help you get from your current state to your desired state. So let's revisit this in the near future and see where we are. Will that help?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. Let's, I just,
Thanks.
thank you. Let me see. I'm sorry somebody had left, but Vaibhav ji, do you want to try once again, sir? Okay. I think he's in mute. Hello, Vaibhav, you're on mute. Let me try to unmute. I cannot mute. Okay, so let's see if we can go to. Okay, so Soundscapes is having a nice. Okay, so very nice. I'm very happy that you are communicating. Very nice, Soundscapes. Okay. Okay, so let's get back to the 3 things that make up our personal power, and let's revisit that. If Vaibhavji is able to unmute himself and speak, we will also get to him. Any other questions that you want me to address right now? You're welcome to put them in the chat, or you can just join the stream and talk to me about it. Do you want to try once again, sir?
Yeah, am I audible now? Is that okay?
Okay,
Connectivity.
let's try to make it work. Yeah.
Okay. Am I audible?
I think Yes. he's in mute.
No, I'm
Hello,
unmuted.
Vaibhav, you're on mute.
No. I've removed mute. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay, so let's see.
Hear me?
Okay, let me do one thing.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Now I can hear you perfectly well. No, I cannot hear you now. Okay. So let's get back to the agenda of. Okay, I'm sorry, he had to give up and go. So talk about self-talk. Okay, so tell about self-talk. I think somebody is asking a question about self-talk. Okay, so there are so many. So somebody, Ramanji was saying earlier, what makes up his personal power is self-confidence. So the minute you understand that everything is within the self, everything that you want, you desire is already within you, you will become unstoppable. That is the whole point of this discussion. So let's talk about self in the context of. So here we are doing enough of self, and I know enough of selfies, but the point here is talking about the self is talking about what is spirituality. So again, a lot of you might have a different opinion or say similar opinion or anything. Generally, spirituality is the study of the self. We are often trying our best. Bhupesh Singh, I think your devices are not connected, sir. Can you try to connect with your I can then bring you onto the stream. Bhupesh Singh, your devices say it's not connected. Your mute button, your mute button or unmute button, that's not working, I think. Can you try? Okay. So the study of self is spirituality. Study of self is spirituality. And the reason why it is so important is, listen to this. We spend years trying to understand, decades trying to understand what is the meaning of what has happened to me, what is the meaning of what somebody said to me, trying to interpret other people's ideas and trying to get carried away by other people's agenda, right? So let me put him in the remove from stream. Okay, so we try multiple things trying to understand other people, but we are not doing enough to study ourselves, to understand our own potential. That is the reason why this thing is very important. So if you see, many people are trying to like 2018, I believe, was the year of self improvement. Everybody was on this bandwagon of like personal growth momentum. I want to, like, be the best version of myself. I want to do this, I want to do that, and all that. So the the thing where it got derailed was the self became priority, and the self growth moment became the self care moment. Okay, and by all means you have to care for yourself and take care of your own. Bhupesh Singh. Okay, Bhupesh Singh, there is some problem. You are not able to join. Okay, and what will be your first reaction if CBI says suicide in SSR case? How will you feel? Okay, this gentleman is asking me, how will I feel if CBI declares tomorrow that suicide in SSR case? I'm going to come to that. I'm going to answer. Okay, how I'm going to personally feel about it. I'm going to address. Okay, so how 2018 moment got derailed was people started talking about the self so much more than anything else. It became a self-care moment. So here is what I'm saying, right? Self-care is number one priority, because if your cup is not full, how are you planning to give anything to others? How are you willing to how can you even contribute? So that's out of the question. Self-care is important, but self-care cannot be like the ultimate goal of life, right? So I was reading an article in the morning. Meaning of life, should it be all about my strengths, my contributions, my impact in the world, or should it be anything that that the world wants? Like, should it be about other people? So uh, so that's the whole thing, right? So let's explore the self in a little bit. I will try one more time to take Vaibhavji. Yeah, can you unmute yourself, please? Let's see if I'm able to. Hello, Vaibhav. Can you talk, please? Okay, so he's not able to unmute himself, I think. Okay, so I'm going to continue talking about the self until Vaibhavji can unmute himself. My biggest word that I teach robotics and coding for a living. So I teach in 17 different countries right now. My goal is to teach all 200 countries if possible. But the thing is, no matter where you go, right, in the world, if you can think of the self in this aspect, that you are capable enough in spite of what anybody thinks about you, you are good enough just the way you are, just by being yourself. So I was telling the other day to somebody on another YouTube channel, why will I want to be anybody else but myself when I am so unique and so different, right? The idea is, let's celebrate the self right now. One of the concepts that I teach my children is adopting self-efficacy. That is one of my favorite words in self. So what is self-efficacy? Even for you, right? We are usually so again, we were talking about why is there not peace in our life. Again, we have given our sovereignty, our sovereign powers to somebody else to make me happy. So I'm taking back all this personal power, and I'm building a skill called self-efficacy. What does that mean? There are advantages of building self-efficacy in the short term and the long term. Self-efficacy right now, just for argument's sake, let's imagine that um, I am going to achieve my dream. I'm going to achieve my dream. I'm going to be okay, right? So if I assume that and get started on my journey, and then how can I slowly build self-efficacy? Because self-efficacy is the root of success. These are the roots that form the success tree. So I've talked about it
Can you hear me?
extensively.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Vaibhav, I can hear you. Yeah.
You can. Okay. I've typed my
Okay.
question in
So he's not
private
able
chat.
to unmute himself, I think.
Chat. I
Okay.
can answer the
So I'm
chatting.
going to continue. Okay. I saw your question then. I saw your question. Okay. So, word, Vaibhavji, here is the question that he is asking. Uh, how to overcome the feeling of jealousy if you see others more successful? Okay. I got the question. Okay, so Vaibhavji, I'm going to answer your question. We'll talk about self-efficacy. We will we'll continue talking about self-efficacy. And the topic of self is very, very vast. Every religion, every scripture, and every religion talks about first understand yourself, first fix yourself before fixing anything else, right? So the journey always starts. So even Dalai Lama says the shortest journey between the head and the heart is what we forget to take, right? That is the discovery of the self. So that is what we are missing, and that is the reason why we are not anchored in this knowledge of the self. So it is a very long topic. We'll talk about it. First, let's talk about these two questions that came up. The first question is how to overcome the feeling of jealousy when anybody else is more successful than you. Right off the bat, I can do a whiteboard on this, or I can just talk. Right off the bat, I want you to think of it like this. Uh, again, last week also we were talking about it. If anybody doesn't procrastinate, if anybody is not jealous, if you're like this awesome human being, great. You already deserve the Nobel Prize, right? So uh, it is. Yes, it is a very painful condition that what you are doing is you are constantly becoming self-critical about yourself. Jealousy is again a manifestation of something. uh, Bhupeshji, okay, so I'm going to talk about your question as well. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So how to overcome the feeling of jealousy is, this is, you have to understand. Let's talk deeply about jealousy. You have to understand that it is a manifestation. Shame is a manifestation uh, of something. You know what it is? The underlying condition. I think it's better off if I do the thing here. Let's do a whiteboard. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to do a whiteboard here. We have 10 minutes and then we can leave. So, so I'm going to quickly draw about jealousy and why it manifests. I'm sure all of us are at some point of time jealous or ashamed or selfish or all these, right? These are all these painful. Okay. Okay. So if you see this, the underbelly of any of these negative emotions that we experience, almost always 100% is fear. If you understand this, fear is again a behavior that was put into our brains because it is a survival tactic. Without fear, we have already established that we are just going to walk off that hill or that cliff and just fall off. Okay, so fear was put in us, and we also managed to very nicely keep giving that fear to our children as well. Yes, but here is the problem, right? When fear becomes chronic, it means it is always there. Okay, to the point that you have these heart palpitations and panic attacks, and you're not able to function normally, and it is unchecked. So again, unchecked. So here, one of the things that I'm going to address here, Vaibhav's question is jealousy. He is jealous. So one of the things that is manifesting it as is jealous. So what is the underlying? Let's unpack this here a little bit. The thing is, he's fearful about something, fearful that people are getting ahead of him, fearful that in spite of working so hard, he's not reaping the benefits that he should be seeing by now. Fear that somebody else might be more successful than him, somebody might make the, maybe let's say for argument's sake, he's in sales. What if somebody else closes the deal before him, right? So there are a lot of fear. So again, fear is a real emotion. At the moment you have to acknowledge it. You can go track back and dig deeper to try to understand why this jealousy is manifesting. What is it that I'm afraid of? What is it that I'm afraid of? What do I worry about? Okay, so that is how you have to go. So one of the other ones is shame. So all these emotions come from a belief that let me try to see if I can change the pen color. No, I am not good enough. So I'm not saying that this is how Vaibhavji's childhood was, but generally all of us, what happens is, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to write enough. I apologize for this. So I am not good enough. Okay, so what is this underlying idea? Sorry. So I am not good enough. Why am I thinking that I am not good enough? Is because, let's say in your childhood, you were just a wholesome child, just like running around and everything. You were being you were being yourself. But what has happened is, as you were walking around, you dropped a glass jug or something, okay, and it broke. When it broke, your mom's or your dad's or your relatives' natural reaction is, hey, Vaibhav, what did you do? You just dropped. Well, you should not have done that, right? The minute that happens, what happens is that child will start thinking, oh, I should not be myself. I should be more careful. I should not be. So this again ties down deeply into identity and how we perceive what is happening to us as part of our identity. Now what we do is that child will try to change his or her behavior to become acceptable to other people. You try to your best to try to become acceptable to other people, and then you start changing who you are. And you keep constantly telling yourself, I have to behave this way or that way because I'm not good enough. And these are the things that, again, the fear of not acceptance, no acceptance, the fear of being left behind, the fear of not fitting in properly in your crowd. So let's say you're a 40 something. The expectation from society is, you're married, check. You own your own home, check. Oh, if you're successful, you should own a second plot of land, check. You should have a nice car, check. All these are the part of the identity, that the fear that creates that identity, remember, based on whatever we had talked about earlier. So now here is a quick exercise for Vaibhav. Okay, so let me get out of the screen and come back here into the stream. The thing is, yes, Bhupeji, I'm going to chat with you in a little bit. Okay, so here is the thing. You are going to do an exercise, Vaibhavji, where you are going to sort through these emotions and see your journey. So it is, the concept is called gap in the gain. So what is it? Where were you 10 years ago? Where are you right now? Okay, look at the exponential growth that has brought you here. You have accomplished this, and all these. If you can see your full story in a nice 70 screen, your entire life story, there's no reason to be jealous about anybody else. First things first, right? We don't have the context in which they are getting successful. We don't have their full context, like, are they being helped by anybody? Is it their right place, right time? Like, what is all these things, right? So we don't have the full context. So there's no point thinking about other people. There's so many people who are successful than me, right? So my thing is hashtag better than yesterday. Am I better than yesterday? Have I accomplished whatever I want to? How has my growth been in the past 10 years? That is what I want you to look at. And that is the exercise I want you to do, because it's called gap in the gain, where you are seeing the gap in the gain where your desired state is, where you're like, oh, I have to accomplish so many things. But what we have to be doing instead is how far I have come. That is the gap in the gain, that you have gained a lot, but which gap are you looking at? That is the most important thing. So please do this exercise. I promise you, you will feel better. You will actually kick the jealousy out to the curb, because there's nothing to fear in your capabilities. You are a capable man. You are doing everything in your capacity right now to live the best version of yourself. Okay. That's okay. So let's see Bhupesh ji's question. So personal reaction, sir, I'll just tell you one answer. You have asked me, what will be my first reaction if CBI says tomorrow it is a suicide in SSR case? I'll tell you one thing frankly. My first emotion is going to be of that of utter disappointment. I'm not going to lie about that. But I'm going to use my grief to pivot and do better than what I did for Sushant. I was not there for him. I'm going to make sure I raise my voice louder so that no other child faces what he has faced. That is how I will drive myself, even in spite of the grief and the disappointment I'm going to feel. Okay, does that mean it is a non-negotiable, it is a negotiable thing for me? No, I need justice for SSR. It is a non-negotiable for me. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back here. Tell about Sankalp se Srishti banti hai, exact meaning. Okay, so it feels like you either know this or you're testing me. It's okay. So Sankalp se Srishti is used even in the Western world a lot. It's called the Pygmalion Effect. We were just revisiting this earlier in this session. You're willing something that you are imagining for yourself to come into action. So you're actively working on that. You're visualizing it, and you are going to make it happen by constantly putting it in the short-term memory and revisiting it. What should I do next? How do I do this? What do I do? My goal is to make the most positive impact for the most number of people. If that is in my short-term memory, that goal, what I do is I'm always looking for opportunities to spread this and take this positive momentum along with me as long as I'm alive. Right? So that is what the capacity of the mind is. You can do Sankalp Se Shrishti, as you were asking. You can will everything that you want to come alive, whatever is in your dreams, to come alive into action if you are working towards it actively. Okay. Okay, so dopamine is low. This is the best question. I love this. Whenever happiness. Okay. Unfortunately, the session is going to come to an end. But about dopamine, I have like tons and tons to talk about. But I'll tell you one thing. Here is a question for you, Prasanna. And for anybody who is watching this or going to watch this, in the past 10 years, in the past 15 years, since the internet and the smartphone revolution has happened, we are not generating enough dopamine from inside out. I will get super agitated when I talk about big tech and how it is creating all this generation of depressed and anxious people out of all of us. Because dopamine is the one that is supposed to be generated inside out, from within. If your mama wanted dopamine, you know what she would do? She would turn on the radio and probably just listen to her favorite song. That is how she generated dopamine. She would make a Mysore pak. Mysore pak is my favorite thing. So I'm thinking about Mysore pak right now. But even thinking about it generates dopamine inside me. We'll talk about the things that cause positive effects, the hormones that give us positive effect, and the hormones that sabotage our mind completely. We are going to talk about it 100%. Thank you for bringing up the topic of dopamine. It's very, very important. So here is a question I want to leave you guys with about dopamine, right? Dopamine is this happy hormone. How do you generate it? You have to do things for yourself that make you happy in a positive way. You cannot rely on your, where is my smartphone? You cannot rely on your phone to give you the likes on your photos, to when you refresh, you're like, something new has popped up. Or some new email has come. Somebody needs me. Oh, somebody wants me. Somebody cares for me. That's why they sent this WhatsApp message for me. These are the things that are giving us happiness right now. That is in outside in. That is a very, very dangerous proposal. Please, 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 please. If you don't take anything away from this meeting, please, I want you to think about how to generate dopamine from within yourself. You're probably good at art. You're probably good at writing. You're probably good at dancing. Do what gives you joy from inside out. Okay. Dopamine can get me riled up. So, okay, let's determination. You can create your own world. 100%. Yes, Amarji, 100%. You can create your own destiny. Literally, I believe that. Okay, Saviji, and let's see. I believe desires keep increasing, but the reality of being a wholesome person is important. 100%, ma'am. Yes. You okay? Thank you. Who has the time for being jealous? Yes, yes. Who has the time for being jealous? See, the problem is, Swatiji, here is the problem, right? We are being fed all these unrealistic expectations. We are looking at all these cool things that people are doing on the internet on a global scale. When your mom or when our mom or a grandmom was growing up, the reference of frame was different. You could see that, she's wearing a nice sari. Okay, let me buy something like that. That was your reference of frame, and that was the only thing you would be jealous about. Right now, our standards are just like so varied. We are like, we want that motorbike somebody is buying, we want that movie somebody is going, we want some of my friends have like 6 or 7 subscriptions for all these streaming content, because we want to make sure we are not missing out on anything, right? So what is my agenda here? I am going by big tech's agenda, smartphones agenda on me. I'm going by video games agenda on me. I'm going by emails agenda, somebody else's agenda on me. But what is my agenda? Ask yourself that. Yes. Thank you for answering question. Okay. Seeing people, they are very depressed, no initiations for people for justice. No. We will continue fighting, and we are the only. So that is the difference between us, right? Human beings right here in the middle. Animals here, machines here. Machines we have created. Animals have lower brains than us, lower developed brains than us. But we are the only ones who know the concept and who actively work towards the concept of hope. So please do not give up hope. Nobody, if you are all here, it means that you're hopeful and you are ready to become unstoppable. Okay, so okay, yes, next Wednesday we can talk about dopamine, absolutely. And next session is next session is next Wednesday. Yes. We are trying to do something for the children as well and teens as well. Hopefully people always talk about responsibility. People always talk about responsibility, our own personal responsibility and societal responsibility, communal responsibility that we have for each other. Yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tagging along. And please let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So, Bhupesh, you okay, I'm going to go off now, but good luck and stay positive and be happy, and let's connect next week. Okay, bye.